The emergency beacon pierced through the silence of Station Meridian's medical bay, its urgent pulse echoing off sterile walls. Anna Chen wiped her hands on her surgical scrubs, exhaustion weighing heavily on her shoulders after another 18-hour shift. As the only human medic on the Outer Rim research station, she had grown accustomed to treating the various alien species that frequented the facility. "Another mining accident?" she muttered, checking the incoming transmission details. Her breath caught in her throat as the data scrolled across her screen. The injured party wasn't from the mining colony. It was a draconian vessel, broadcasting on Imperial frequencies. Anna's pulse quickened. Draconians were the stuff of legends, ancient beings who ruled a vast empire spanning dozens of star systems. Their dragon-like forms were said to be magnificent and terrifying, capable of breathing plasma and wielding technology that made human achievements look primitive. Most humans had never seen one in person. The airlock hissed open, and Anna's preconceptions shattered in an instant. The being that limped through wasn't the towering, magnificent creature she'd imagined. Instead, a humanoid figure with scaled skin and tattered wings stumbled forward, clearly in agony. His right wing hung at an unnatural angle, and ichor, the luminous blue blood of his species, stained his simple traveler's clothing. "Please," he said in accented standard, his voice rough with pain. "I need help." Anna's medical training kicked in, overriding her amazement. "Over here, quickly." She guided him to the examination table, noting how he favored his left side. "What happened?" "Crash landing on Kepler 442b, he explained through gritted teeth. "The gravity wells there are unpredictable. My wing caught the worst of it." As Anna began her examination, she was struck by how different he was from the Imperial propaganda hollows. There were no golden adornments, no ceremonial armor, just a being in pain who needed help. His scales, she noticed, shifted color slightly with his emotions, currently a muted bronze that spoke of exhaustion and vulnerability. "I'm going to need to set the bone," Anna explained, reviewing the scans on her tablet. "The good news is that draconian bone structure is remarkably similar to reinforced human frameworks. I can work with this." Her patient, who had introduced himself simply as Zia, watched her work with obvious curiosity. "You're not afraid of me," he observed. Anna paused in her preparation of the bone-setting apparatus. "Should I be? You're injured, not threatening. Besides, I took an oath to help anyone who comes through those doors, regardless of species." Something flickered in Zia's golden eyes. Surprise, perhaps even wonder. Most humans would be intimidated. "Most humans haven't spent 3 years patching up Croxian miners and Thessian traders," Anna replied with a small smile. "Pain is universal, so is the need for compassion." As she worked to realign the delicate wing bones, Anna found herself chatting easily with her patient. Zia was well-traveled, she discovered, with stories from across the galaxy. He spoke of distant worlds with casual familiarity that suggested extensive exploration, rather than mere tourism. "You've seen more of the galaxy than most people ever will," Anna commented as she applied the specialized medical mesh that would help his wing heal properly. "What do you do for a living?" Zia hesitated for just a moment. "I oversee various operations across multiple systems. It requires a lot of travel." "Sounds lonely," Anna said, not noticing his careful word choice. She was focused on ensuring the wing's membrane would heal without scarring. "Do you have family?" "In a sense," Zia replied quietly, "though duty often keeps us apart." Anna worked in comfortable silence for a while, her hands steady and sure as she tended to injuries that would have left other medics stammering with nervousness. To her, Zia wasn't an exotic alien or a member of a supposedly superior species. He was simply a patient who needed care. "There," she finally said, stepping back to admire her work. "The bone will knit properly now, but you'll need to keep that wing immobilized for at least 10 standard days. No flying, no heavy lifting, and definitely no more crash landings on high-gravity worlds." Zia flexed his wing experimentally, wincing only slightly. The relief on his scaled features was evident. "This is exceptional work." "Where did you train?" "Mars Medical Academy," Anna replied, cleaning her instruments. "Specialized in xenobiology and emergency medicine. Not glamorous, but it means I can help just about anyone who walks through those doors." "Anyone," Zia repeated thoughtfully. "Even your former enemies?" Anna looked up, puzzled. former enemies. The war ended 50 years ago, and it was mostly a political conflict anyway. I don't judge people by their governments. For a long moment, Zia stared at her with an expression she couldn't quite read. Then slowly he reached into his travel pack and withdrew something that made Anna's breath catch. A small crystalline device that pulsed with inner light. "Do you know what this is?" he asked quietly. Anna shook her head, though something about the device seemed familiar from old historical documentaries. "It's an imperial seal," Zia said. "There are only 7 in existence. 5 belong to the High Council, 1 to the Imperial Guard, and 1." He pressed a series of nodes on the device's surface, and suddenly the modest medical bay was filled with a holographic display showing the insignia of the Draconian Empire, and beneath it, an official declaration bearing Zia's image and an impressive string of titles. "Belongs to the Emperor." Anna's instruments clattered to the floor as the full weight of realization hit her. She had just spent the better part of 2 hours treating the most powerful being in known space, as casually as she would any injured miner or trader. The Emperor of the Draconian Empire had been sitting on her examination table, and she had lectured him about crash landings. She started, then stopped, unsure of protocol. Zia, Emperor Zia Thakmorden, according to the holographic display, smiled at her obvious distress. "Please don't change how you treat me," he said gently. "In 50 years of rule, no one has ever cared for me simply because I needed care. Not because of who I am, not because of what I could offer them, but because—" he gestured to his now properly set wing. "Because I was hurt and you could help." Anna found her voice. "You could have told me. And would you have treated me the same way?" Zia asked. "Would you have made jokes about Croxian miners? Would you have asked about my family? Would you have seen me as just another patient who needed help?" Anna considered this, then slowly shook her head. "Exactly." Zia stood, testing his wing's range of motion. "I have spent decades surrounded by those who see only the crown, never the being who wears it. Today, for the first time in longer than I can remember, someone simply saw someone who needed help." He moved toward the airlock, then paused. "I won't forget this kindness, Anna Chen of Mars Medical Academy. The Draconian Empire has many policies regarding human space. Most of them restrictive. Perhaps it's time for a different perspective." As the airlock sealed behind him, Anna realized that her simple act of medical care might have just changed the course of interstellar relations. Sometimes, she reflected, the most powerful diplomatic tool wasn't a treaty or a trade agreement. It was simply treating others with the compassion and dignity that every sentient being deserved. Outside the station's viewports, a sleek Imperial cruiser waited to carry its ruler home. But Zia Thakmorden would never be quite the same emperor again, having been reminded that true strength sometimes lay not in commanding respect through fear, but in earning it through simple, genuine care. The universe was about to become a much smaller and more connected place.